No, I'm no expert in life. However, through my experiences and being a teacher, I felt like I had meaningful information to share. However, I didn't realize how impactful this would be on my life. I have learned and grown a lot, not only in my podcasting, but in my overall mindset of growth. I learned that my perseverance is much more than I thought it would be. That depth of knowledge and learning is so much wider than I previously thought. Welcome back to episode 100 of Defeating Weekly. I'm your host, Craig Olson. Super excited about today's episode. I know I've been building up to it. It's exciting. I am ready to share a lot of awesome things with you guys today. So please make sure you share, like, repost, comment on this LinkedIn, Facebook, Spotify, uh, TikTok, lots of different ways to connect and share. This week's episode, I'm really excited also about the topic, which is guiding the future from the past. So we have officially made it to episode 100. These past 3+ years have been full of some amazing experiences and exciting episodes. We've had some great guests such as Sean Swarner, Erik Allen, and Natasha Olson. Yes, my wife. All three of the episodes were super exciting, full of information, and highly recommended as I learned so much from each of these myself. In my conversation with Erik, he shared with me that very few episodes or podcasts make it to episode 50, and an even higher number don't make it to 100. So we're breaking the mold. We're doing something that most people don't, which is super awesome. I want to say a special thank you to all my listeners who frequently share their enjoyment with the podcast and the messages that I share. A shout out to Ryan Blewett for helping me create my hashtag of Tacoa this year, as it has made it so much easier to stay focused on my focus statement for this year. I could continue to list on and on of those who have been very helpful in this process in me completing these 100 episodes. And know if you've listened to even one of my episodes, I appreciate you and everything that you've done to help me. When I set out to create this podcast, I had no expectations and had little information about what to expect, let alone how I was going to do it. I know I'm no expert in life. However, through my experiences and being a teacher, I felt like I had meaningful information to share. However, I didn't realize how impactful this would be on my life. I have learned and grown a lot, not only in my podcasting, but in my overall mindset of growth. I learned that my perseverance is much more than I thought it would be. That depth of knowledge and learning is so much wider than I previously thought. I had learned my reach is much larger, and I have the opportunity to use my story to help others reach their goals and aspirations. It has provided me with an outlet to share feelings. I have in a healthy way to help others learn from areas I struggle with and celebrate my successes with others. Thinking back on these past couple of years and preparing for this episode, I realized what I have learned and how it happened. That led to today's topic of guiding our futures by learning from our past. We all have experiences in our lives that can provide us with guidance towards our futures, whether they are things we want to avoid doing or things that we want to keep doing. It's important to learn from them. However, this is something that most of us don't do a great job of doing. We make comments such as, I won't do that again, or that was great, and hope we will remember them. Yet we say these things and immediately go on with our lives and don't revisit these situations until we have that oh yeah moment when similar moments arise somewhere down the road. Instead, we should frequently be revisiting our learnings and reflecting on them and how we can put them into practice to help us move in a more positive direction of reaching our goals for our lives. Leon Brown shared the following quote about history. History repeats itself endlessly for those who are unwilling to learn from the past. Whether it be our own past or from others, we must be willing to examine it to break the cycle, or it will simply repeat itself. This week's action steps. Take some time to reflect on your past learnings. Make a list of things you want to repeat and those you would want to avoid happening again. Think about think about why you learned those things and what the outcomes were. Are there things you want again or those that you wish for different outcomes? The next action step is think about and list steps you could take in the future to avoid those outcomes. For me in this podcast, I used to do a very generic outline and realized I was going on tangents and having to do a lot more recordings per episode. Given the busyness of life, I decided I needed to make a change and began making larger, more in-depth outlines to help me stay more focused and thus allowing for less recording time and being more efficient. Several quotes to end out this episode 100 with you. First one, there are times in our lives when we realize our past is precisely what it is and we cannot change it, but we can change the story we tell ourselves about it. And by doing that, we can change the future. That was Eleanor Brown. And the next quote, once again, got to go back to it. I'll leave you with my focus statement for the year. Tools and knowledge only work with action. Hashtag Tacoa. You guys, I thank every single one of you for continuing to support Defeating Weekly and celebrating with me in episode 100. This is not all me, it's you guys. You're the ones that have helped push me to keep doing this podcast. And here's to another 100. Hope you guys have a great day and defeat the week.